Three things about this week. One, we are going to work with the infinite power of curiosity, especially when things get tricky and sticky and feel burdensome. Two, we are going to continue to guard our time like our life depends on it. We are not saying yes to things that we don't have to do and that we do not want to do. And number three, we're going to have some excellent conversations. A lot of good news is going to come to us. Thanks to you all. Every single year, we totally, completely sell out of the Chani Astro Planner, and I cannot wait for you to get your hands on this year's. 2026 is full of 300 pages of rituals, of reflections, of details about every single astrological transit that you need to know about this year. This is how you plan for a year of success. This is such a lovely companion to the weekly readings on the Chani app, to the yearly readings on the Chani app, to the daily horoscopes on the Chani app, to all of it and then some. You get to understand like, oh yeah, that's what she was talking about there and here. And oh, this is how I see it showing up in my life. It has daily little journal prompts and reflections. It has new moon, full moon rituals. And as always, sets of the cutest stickers you've ever seen in your life. They are the collages from the Chani app. You get to work with them in your little Astro Planner. My favorite is also the monthly pages because you can just get to understand like what is going on for the month, week to week, day to day, all at the same time. And I extra love the mood of the month section. Every single month we have written out a synopsis of what this month is all about. And then you can do a little tarot card pull, write your tarot cards down for the month. At the end of the month, you can go back and be like, yes, I was the fool quite a bit, wasn't I? But like I said, every single year they sell out. So go head to chani.com to grab yours now. I cannot wait to see what you do with this year. Hello and welcome. This is the Astrology of the Week Ahead podcast. I'm your host, your astro bestie, Chani Nicholas. In this episode, we are talking about the week of December 1st. And just like last week, I'm going to begin this week's podcast by saying we're moving towards a crunchy moment on December 8th. And it's just a moment. But I want us to know that as we're starting to think about how we're closing out 2025. 2025. As we're thinking about how we're closing out 2025, I want us to just remember that this is the section of the year, this first week of December, where we might have less time than we thought we had. We might have less energy than we thought we had. We might have less coworkers than we thought we'd have. We might have less childcare than we thought we had. We might have just a sense of the numbers have gone down a little bit. We were maybe expecting something to go this way and it didn't. It just kind of stopped. Or we were expecting things to just like go on a path that they normally would and there's unforeseen obstacles. If that's true for you, or if as you move through this week, you find that that's true for you, and you were listening to me a couple weeks ago when I was saying, we're not going to overschedule ourselves. We're not going to overcomplicate things. We're going to keep things very streamlined and very focused as we move into December. Then you're going to be like, okay, good. I'm glad I didn't overwhelm myself. If you weren't here, welcome. Or if you didn't listen to me, okay. We're just going to stay curious. We are going to continue to be exceptionally curious. All right, so this isn't going as I thought it would. Or, okay, this has more obstacles than I thought it would. Okay, this seems challenging. Okay, I'm exhausted. Why? What is the solution? Is there another way of me seeing this? Is there another way of me thinking about this? Is there another way to go about this? Can I delay this? Can I whittle this all down to one thing instead of trying to do all the things before we close? Can I do the one thing? Or do I have room to do 3 things, but not 17? And what are the most important things. I just want us to hone in right now on what the most important things are and focus on those until they're done. And if we have extra time left over, great. A, rest. B, then see if you want to do the other things that maybe you thought you would do, and then you were like, oh, guess I'm not going to do those. Leave as much time and space as you can. I think we're all going to need it. This week we have a full moon in Gemini. Gemini's main attribute is to be curious. It's to ask questions. It's to gather information. It's to be a journalist. It's to go around and be like, what do you think? What did you hear? I heard this. What did you hear? How did you take that? What did you get from that? Your way of seeing things, my way of seeing things, is one in a gajillion ways of seeing it. Not to say that we're here to dispute people's human rights or humanity. I'm not saying we play devil's advocate for everything, but I am saying when things get complicated, I want us to try our best to put our Mr. Rogers sweater on and be like, why might this be? What question could I ask that would help me to understand more about this scenario? One of the things my wife always teaches me is, okay, so this is a situation. It's not how you want it to be. What do you need to make sure you offer the situation? What do you need to make sure happens? And then just go there. So just expect. People are tired, y'all. I'm tired. People are sad. I'm sad. People have had zero time to process the atrocities that keep just like a deluge falling upon us. The world's problems are so immense, and most of us feel so inadequate in the face of them. I do. And then I have to remember, they're not all mine to solve and to fix. And that is just another way in which rugged individualism rears its ugly head. Because if I think that the world's problems are mine alone to fix, then I'm not going to do anything because it's too overwhelming. And that's part of the point. But if I remember to put pressure on the people that are in power, and if I remember to take care of my community, and if I remember that mutual aid is literally the thing that will save us in every way, shape, and form on this planet, then I have things that I can do. We know this and we forget it. I know this and I forget it all the time. So I just want us to move into this week with a lot of curiosity and a lot of compassion for all the things that all of us have been holding and all the stuff that we don't even know we're holding, and we surely do not know our neighbors and our community members are holding as well. So curiosity, what am I not seeing? What am I not thinking about? How am I not seeing this? What am I not doing? What am I putting off? What am I not letting somebody else deal with that's their own consequence to deal with it? One of the things, and I know I haven't even really gotten to the astrology yet, sorry, but one of the things that I keep talking about with this Mars-Saturn square is that when we try to take somebody's burden away from them, and I'm not saying you're hungry and I've got food, but I'm not going to give it to you because that's your burden. That's not what I'm saying. You share the things that you have. You share resources. Everybody deserves the resources they need to live a good and free life. Beyond those resources, beyond those base needs, say when my daughter is trying to learn a lesson, trying to learn how to do something, trying to learn how to put her own shoes on, I have to literally let her struggle. And I have to do the thing that's the hardest to do, which is to not move in and help her do it by doing it for her. Oh my God, it's so hard. Not even because I want to do it for her. I actually want her to do it on her own, but because it's just a knee-jerk reaction in me. It's just something I have to hold myself back from doing it. I have to be like, don't do it, Chani. Do not do it. Let her struggle with it. She's safe. This is not, this is her just in a natural attempt, a natural struggle, a natural way of being when you're learning a new skill. So when I say you don't want to do other people's work for them, it's like that. Obviously, eventually I'll put her shoes on for her, but I got to let her struggle a little bit with it first until she's like done with the struggle and either gets her shoes on herself or is like never going to put them on. And we got to go. So I got to get the shoes on and then we got to move forward. But I have to honor her enough, honor her strength and her wisdom and her resilience enough and show her how to build that in herself. And if I keep doing things for her, she'll never get a chance to do that. And I will be robbing her of that essential skill that will save her in her life. So one of my questions, or one of the ways in which you can be curious this week, is to ask yourself that. Am I trying to do somebody's thing for them so that I don't have to be uncomfortable watching their struggle? Am I honoring their integrity? Am I honoring their inherent strength? Am I honoring their own wisdom? Am I honoring their ability to find their own way? Or am I trying to intercept it and control it and figure it out? For some of you, it'll be that. If you're controlling like I am, if you're codependent like I am, if you've got issues like I do, that'll come up this week. And it's a really good thing to be like, oh, why do I want to do that? So it's a full moon in Gemini on Thursday. It's just a really good time to be like, what am I not being curious about? And because on Monday, the 8th of December, we have that really crunchy astrology, we know we're just moving towards something that's going to serve up some consequences. And if we take on too much, the consequence will be we didn't get anything done and we're also burnt out. Now, this full moon is sitting in Gemini. Saturn is sitting in Pisces and Mars is sitting in Sagittarius. All of those signs are connected. Saturn in Pisces is making a square to both this full moon in Gemini and Mars in Sag. Mars in Sag is sitting in opposition to this full moon. It's tense. And it's especially tense for people that have important Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Virgo placements. Nothing's in Virgo right now, but Virgo is the 4th mutable sign. Virgo is going to feel the pressure. All the mutable signs are going to be feeling pressure this week and next week. And this is the thing, is that we all have mutable signs somewhere in our chart. We all have those 4 signs in our chart. So the parts of our life, especially that contain Sag, the parts of our chart that contain Sag, Gemini, and Pisces are in this kind of pressure cooker situation. Now, to have both Mars and Saturn connected to this lunation makes it a doozy. This feels like a really consequential lunation. Not only that, but it's square the nodes. The nodes are where eclipses happen. So again, that's another way of saying this feels important. This full moon feels defining. This full moon is definitely requiring us to stay curious because it's all about limitations, boundaries, no's, and it's edgy. It's got a lot of friction built into it. So I really think that this full moon is leading us to this point of like friction and tension. And again, we're going to be confronted with things that we cannot change right away. We're going to be confronted with obstacles and conflicts that we have to contend with. And the only way I know how to deal with stuck energy or with really intense, aggravated energy in a constructive way is to be curious. And that's hard. That's not an easy thing to do. It's simple, but it's not easy. So that's, I think, the medicine and the trick of this week. Now, the good thing is that on the way to the full moon on Tuesday, Venus, planet of love and sweetness and pleasure, makes a sexile to Pluto, which is deep and cathartic and powerful and potent. So that feels good for our relationships. That's on Tuesday. Then on Thursday, we have this really complicated full moon. On Friday, the sun makes an exact square to the nodes, but that's basically what we felt on Thursday. It's that confronting of a choice, or there's a pivotal turning point that this full moon is really articulating. And it is articulating it because it is a full moon in Gemini. So it's very much about our communications. Ask more questions. I think it's going to save us this week. But the planet that's ruling this full moon is Mercury. And Mercury on Saturday trines Jupiter, which is a lot of good news. And it's an expansive way of thinking. It's really helpful for our conversations. And then on Sunday, Mercury goes and trines Saturn, which is also really helpful. So Mercury is now picking up on this grand water trine that Venus was picking up on last week. So there are incredibly healing conversations that we get to by the weekend. And I think our way in is to be curious, because we know on Monday, we've got the Mars-Saturn square. So we're just moving from a full moon, which is a peak experience, and it's a full moon in Gemini, so it might be a little chaotic. Again, we've got to ask questions, we've got to gather information, to healing conversations on the weekend, to being like, okay, Monday. This Monday is really Mondaying, you know? December 8th is like a Monday. It's like, oh, I'm already behind and it's Monday. Slept in and I'm already behind and it's Monday. Didn't even get to the things I needed to get to and it's December 8th. Oh my gosh, I've only got a couple of weeks left of this year. It feels like that. So be as kind to yourself as you can this week by letting people struggle with what is theirs to struggle with, and your people too. So don't ask people to do your work for you. Struggle with the things you need to struggle with. Yes, ask for help. Yes, process. Yes, this is a good full moon to remember, like, I got to vent. Who's open to venting? Does anybody have time to listen to me vent? Who wants to process with me? Ask permission. You know, you don't just want to like unload on people, but this is a good time to write, to vent. And again, to stay curious. Ask yourself questions. Go in the Chani app and do the full moon ritual. Answer the journal prompts in the Chani app under the weekly tab, under your weekly personal reading. Find out where this full moon is for you. And then answer the journal prompts. Know that writing is magic. Speaking is magic. Our words are spells. Our writing is medicine. Let it work you this week. And say no to everything that is even like a smattering of like, I don't know if I need to do that. Don't do it. Save your energy. And then by next week, we're moving through the hurdle. All right, y'all, now it's time for a question from our audience. People have been leaving me questions in the Chani app, which I absolutely love. You can go to the menu bar and it'll drop down and it'll tell you like, leave us a question to answer. Here's this week's.
Hi, Chani. My question is, what does it mean if your sun and rising sign are the same? Thanks.
It means you were born around sunrise. It means the sun was coming up over the eastern horizon, which is the marker of your life. So on one hand, it just tells me what time of day you were born at. On another hand, it means that the planet that rules both your rising sign and your sun are the same. So that means that's a very important planet for you. In another way, it tells me that there's not a tremendous amount of difference in the style that you are motivated to live out this life. That's your rising sign. Your rising sign is like, I'm motivated to do this life, and this is how I show or demonstrate my motivation, or I'm motivated to do this thing. Like if you're Scorpio rising, you're motivated to be secretive. You're motivated by mysteries. You're motivated to understand power. You're motivated to like move stealthily. If you're Sagittarius rising, then you're motivated to be adventurous, or your motivation is adventure. So if your sun and your rising sign are the same, then your motivation and the ways in which you demonstrate that motivation, and your sun, the ways in which you shine, your style, the style within which you shine is the same. So there's maybe less of a paradox in you or less of a contrast, or there's just more of that theme, that style that dominates your life. And then again, you can know like the planet that rules that sign is going to be extra potent. So if you're a Leo rising and you're a Leo sun, baby, you were here to shine. You know what I'm saying? Like Leo rules that. Leo is in that, and Leo is your rising sign. So like Leo sun, Leo rising, bam. But that's the only combo that you would have that with. So if you are a Gemini sun and a Gemini rising, then we know that Mercury holds a tremendous amount of weight in your chart, because whatever planet rules your sun is going to hold the keys to a part of your purpose, because your sun is the illumination of a part of your purpose. The sun is, again, how you shine, but it's also very much about your life's purpose. The rising sign, the ruler of your rising sign, your sun and your moon, if you just understood those 4 things, basically, you would know so much about your life purpose. Like, where are you supposed to go? The other thing is that if your sun is in the first house, if your sun and your rising sign are the same, which to me, because I use whole sign houses, that's true. Those 2 things are true. Then we know that the you of your life is very important. Now, that sounds ridiculous because, of course, like the you of everybody's life is important. But the first house, the rising sign, is the only part of the chart that's only about you. It's your body, it's your vitality, it's your life force, it's your life, it's you. It's how you look, it's how you like kind of show up in the world in a way. It's not your mask. I do not go by that. If you do, great, love and light. But like, this is not a mask. This is the marker of your birth. This is the marker, the ascendance, the marker of like, I'm here, world. Yes, this is me. So if your sun is also in the first house, then you have to learn how to shine in your own unique style and way. And you do that through being you. And the focus on self is important. So you have to be like, hey, this is who I am in the ways that you can and want to be. I hope that's helpful. Okay, y'all, keep sending us your questions. Keep recording them. It's so much fun to hear your voices too. All right, come back next week because obviously we're going to talk about the Saturn-Mars square, but then also it'll be over by Tuesday. It'll be lingering, but we'll be through the kind of crunchiest part of it. So I don't want to say congratulations too early, but come back next week and I'll say congratulations to us all by Tuesday at least. All right, I'm sending you so much love, so many blessings. And I want us to remember, after this hurdle, there's some nice space. There's a good amount of runway, at least for like 5-6 weeks, maybe even a little bit more. So we're going to start to talk also about how to pace out the last couple of weeks of December and the first couple of weeks of January, because the first couple of weeks of January are really, really good. And I want us to work with them because February is more complicated. Okay, more on that soon. Bye for now.